Samsonite presents the News Hour with Arnab Goswami.
I'm delighted tonight to introduce in a different capacity someone you've seen on the News Hour quite often. But he's without doubt someone every journalist in India looks up to. He's one of India's most independent editors. He believes in wit and self-criticism. And finally, he's telling his own story. There's so many stories he's telling. He's telling you the story of the alleged mole in Indira Gandhi's cabinet and the impact that had on his own profession, his own career. He's telling you the inside story of the cricket match fixing scandal. He's telling you about how he's become, and nobody would believe it, how he's become a casualty because of publishing the Radhia tapes. This is the unfettered, unstoppable editor-in-chief of the Outlook magazine, Vinod Mehta, who's bringing you a fascinating series of stories behind all these scoops in his career in his remarkably candid memoir titled Vinod Mehta. Congratulations, sir. Many congratulations on this book. Now let's hold it up. You know what I find amazing about this book, Vinod Mehta, is not the front cover. Not the front cover, you know. It's called Lucknow Boy. It's not this Vinod Mehta that I find most surprising. Let me turn it over. It's amazing. Look at this. This is what, a 10-year-old Vinod Mehta. And I want to say, Vinod Mehta, you look the same. Amazing. Look at this. This is the Vinod Mehta across so many decades. This is the book which is going to hit the stands this weekend. And it's going to be a damn good read, let me tell you that. Now, there are so many things in this book, and I must say, Vinod Mehta, that I have had the pleasure of going through this book because I got a privileged advance copy. And this book was read in about 7 to 8 hours flat. And I could not stop. What do you think is the most interesting part of this book?
Well, Arnab, the most interesting part, as far as I am concerned, is that I have tried to tell my life story, and I've tried to be as honest as possible. You see, anybody's life, whether you're a journalist or a cobbler, it's made up of victories and defeats. Somewhere you do well, somewhere you do badly. I have tried to present my life in terms of victories and defeats, and I have not tried to embellish anything or improve any story, but to try and present myself as I am, and it's for the readers to make an assessment whether I have succeeded or not. But my life as a journalist, I've been an editor for 4 decades, and like all editors, I have the vanity to believe that my 4 years, 4 decades as an editor have been quite exciting, exemplary. I've seen a lot of things. I've met some interesting people, and therefore I wanted to share this for all it's worth. I'm not saying that it's very important what I've said, but I wanted to share this with people and to see whether there is anything that I have learned or anything that I know which might be useful to somebody else, or on the other hand might serve as a warning to somebody else.
Yes.
Not to do what I have done.
Yes. I have been reading your book and I have found many hidden warnings. Mr. Mehta, I have 4 questions for you. 4 questions for you.
Thank you.
First question is, Vinod Mehta. Even for Vinod Mehta, are there limits to how honest you can be? That's question number 1 tonight in the context of your book. What have you held back?
Well, you know, I'm sure memory plays very strange tricks, but I have not tried to hold anything back. If some instances I may have held back because they were of a very personal nature, but even in that personal nature, I have tried to be honest about some of the mistakes that I've committed. And one of the mistakes I've committed is in terms that I have a daughter who I have never met. And I showed it to my wife, and it took a great amount of courage to be able to write that, because I come out as a complete bastard from that story.
But there are very few people who would be honest enough to say that. And that is what is so amazing about you. Question number 2. What is the one thing no journalism school can teach you, which this book can?
Well, I'm not sure whether it can teach you, but one of the things that I have learned is that in journalism, whatever you do, whether you're a news photographer or whether you are a sub-editor or a feature writer or an editor, you must be damn good at your job. And you will always find there will always be somebody who's ready to give you a job. If you're mediocre in your job, then you'll become a wheeler dealer, backstabber, you'll have to do politicking. But if you're good at your job, you might get sacked once or twice as I have, but someone somewhere will say, someone will say that I need this chap. He may be a son of a bitch, but I need him because he can start a newspaper and he can start a magazine. So you must be good in your job, not just good, but excellent in your job. And if you're excellent in your job, nobody can touch you.
2 more questions. You know, it's very, nowadays journalists, it's fashionable for some journalists to say, you know, I somewhere have lost my idealism, or I remember my idealistic days. No, have you lost your idealism, or are you still holding on to it?
Well, to be quite honest, I have maybe lost 20-30% of my idealism. You see, what happens with idealism is that the corrosive and toxic atmosphere and toxic sense of values that you have in this country, particularly the toxic and corrosive sense in our own profession, Arnab. I'm not saying that our profession is perfect. In media, we do lots of terrible things. And when I see that, and when young people see that, then it's not easy to be an idealist, but you must try and not become cynical. I say become a skeptic. You should always be a skeptic, but you shouldn't be a cynic.
4th question. Since it is common, as we all know, in some circles to sue, given the kind of many stories you put out here, and I'll lead our readers, they should read this book. Are you ready with your lawyers, just in case you are sued?
Well, Arnab, my publishers sent it to 2 lawyers, and we cleaned this book up as much as we could. But then everything is, I mean, at the end you have to take a few risks in life. A journalist or anybody who doesn't take risks in life is not worth his name. So I don't think I have deliberately or gratuitously tried to offend somebody or solicit a court case. But obviously, in my 40 years, I have offended some people. Some people have offended me, and I have written about that. Now, God, what they do is their business. I'm not worried about it.
I want to say one thing here. The most amazing part of this book is this part which goes into 20 pages at the end, which says, which is called Sweeper's Wisdom. There are many questions that Vinod Mehta answers there. Can journalists make a difference? Can a journalist be a cynic or a skeptic? Are there always 2 sides of a story? Should a journalist try and be a rebel? Can journalists and politicians be friends? Should a journalist always carry a resignation letter in his pocket? What should a journalist do if put on the page 3 beat? My question to you today is, and I want, this is the most amazing part of Vinod Mehta, where he answers the question, should a journalist take freebies? Now listen, I want to read out a part of this book, from your book, Vinod Mehta, which he says, no, absolutely not. Pay your way. For the 4 decades I've been editor, I can claim hand on heart that I've never visited a restaurant or stayed in a hotel or traveled in an airline without paying the full bill. Occasionally, the management makes a fuss and insists on waiving the charges. My escape from the crafty kindness is to jokingly protest, this is an insult. If you are trying to bribe me, it has to be more than 6,000 rupees. How many journalists stay with this today nowadays? And then, let me add on one more part to it. Editors and back of the book writers may be unaware, but those who take handouts are held in contempt by the providers. Words quickly spreads that so-and-so can be bought with beer and Manchurian chicken. If you must be corrupt, set your sights high. A farmhouse or a prime plot of land ought to be your aim. Damn, it's so well written, Vinod Mehta. I think this is the one part I would say which every journalism student today ought to buy this book for. You are happy to have lived through that? Were you ever tempted? Have people tried to bribe you?
Unfortunately not. But early on in my career, there was a politician who sent me a Kanjivaram sari for my wife and some dry fruit. The Kanjivaram sari was about 3,000 rupees at that time. So I kept the dry fruit and sent the Kanjivaram sari back and said that my wife only wears cotton. So I have not not many people have tried to bribe me. But Arnab, you must understand, my proprietors pay me enough money. I get a good salary. I can buy my wife a sari. I can take my wife occasionally to a 5-star restaurant. I drink good wine, I drink Scotch whiskey, and I drink it because I get paid enough for that. I'm not short of money. I'm not rolling in money. I'm not Lakshmi Mittal, but I earn enough money to enjoy myself.
I will not ask you whether you have someone in mind when you say whether one should aim for a farmhouse. My question is, last question today is Vinod Mehta. And this has gone on for longer than we had planned, but that's the best part of it, isn't it? Last question. If you had a choice, would you want to be remembered for the last page of Outlook, which you write so well, or for the centerfold of Debonair, where you started out in the 1970s?
Well, Arnab, there is no choice because the centerfolds of Debonair was so damn awful. We used to pay 250 rupees to a girl, and you can imagine what we were getting. So I am afraid that the centerfold of Debonair, even I, as editor, used to close my eyes when I used to see it, because it was so terrible. But you know, because we were paying all of 250 rupees, that included the model fees, and that included the photographer's fees. So you can imagine what kind of stuff we were getting.
Only you could have intellectualized the Debonair as you did. Vinod Mehta, thank you. I look forward to meeting you. And this book, Vinod Mehta's Lucknow Boy, is a must read. And I can tell you, you won't stop till you come to the end. Fantastic to see you, sir. Fantastic. What a man there, Vinod Mehta.